Perfect. Okay, so let's move some of these down a little bit. Boop, boop. Oh dear. Hello everyone! Welcome back to Royalty Soaps and the 2020 12 Days of SOAPMAS. I asked you guys on Instagram to send in some soap making questions to me, so now I shall answer them. And that is the entire concept of this video. Okay, first question. Why don't you use soap clay more often in your designs, even for embeds? Basically, the simple answer is, in business, time is money. Now that's not with life. That's just with business. Soap clay takes way longer. And when I say way longer, I mean for the types of embeds I am placing on my bars and the average amount of time it takes us to craft them, it is not an exaggeration to say making those same exact embeds out of soap clay would take 25 to 30 times as long. Soap clay is simply not sustainable for scaling up your soap business. I would have to charge an exorbitant amount of money per soap bar if I chose to use soap clay. So it's not cost efficient, it is not time efficient, which in the end doesn't benefit me, and it certainly doesn't benefit my customer. So for smaller batches, if I'm really just making it for art on YouTube, I wouldn't mind using it, but again, it requires a lot of prep work. There's also a lot of different things that could go wrong with soap clay, like if I mix it up too much. I just haven't had a lot of luck with it. It's just not really my thing. How do you handle customer complaints? Customer service is a really big deal to me. I have dealt with a lot of small businesses where I felt I was treated poorly, and so I have made it a priority that anyone who comes to me with a complaint is treated really well, and that we go above and beyond. I have a 100% satisfaction guarantee policy. So if you ever receive a product from Royalty Soaps that you're not like 100% happy with, we either replace that product completely or we refund you completely. We also, of course, try to respond in a very timely manner. And I also try to err on the side of generosity and giving people the benefit of the doubt, because there's always going to be customer service complaints that come in that you can't verify. But I will say, like, 98% of the customer commentary that we get in our inbox is people being really kind, really generous. We almost never get anything nasty in there. People are just really nice. And honestly, that's just kind of refreshing and unusual, I think, for a business to have an inbox just full of people raving about their stuff and not making any harsh demands and not being ugly. So customer service is relatively easy for our company because there aren't a lot of complaints. Do you ever do farmers markets in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? No. I did do farmers markets at the very beginning of Royalty Soaps, and it was in no way, shape, or form cost effective. A lot of those places have a buy-in of $100 to up to $1,000 for a booth for a day. Think about how many bars I would have to sell to even break even on that, especially whenever I sell out online and I don't have to have a booth set up, I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to haul a whole bunch of things around. I have found in my almost 10 years now of selling soap that farmers markets and craft fairs in general are not worth the cost of entry for most people that I talk to. Are you ever afraid of success / getting too big as a business, or is there even such a thing? I think for some people that is such a thing, and for me it definitely would be. If Royalty Soaps ever grew to the point that I didn't have creative control over certain things, or we had to lower the quality of our bars to meet demand, I would feel like that had gotten out of control. I have an extremely conservative financial business model. We are 100% debt-free as a company. I would never incur debt as a means to expansion. The core of Royalty Soaps is having handmade soap. So if we ever got to a point where I had to switch from not making my soap to, like, I don't know, getting it manufactured or something, and that, in my opinion, that would be too big because that would be losing, like, the heart of the business. Have you ever considered doing a Royal Academy for slightly more advanced techniques? Yes! I will be adding more videos to the Royal Creative Academy in 2021, and long term I would like to continue to add more tutorials to the Royal Creative Academy as time goes on. on so that as people get better and better at soap making, I have more to offer them. And of course, everything will be 100% free per usual. But Royal Creative Academy videos take a lot of time, a lot of research, and I have to have a very long list of bullet points that I cover in every single video. That way anyone who is following it as a tutorial doesn't have any questions at the end of it that would inhibit them from making soap. So they're really, really time intensive, and I mean, honestly, 100% keeping it real here, fiscally speaking, I don't make that much money off of them. I really enjoy doing it, and I think it builds goodwill with the community, which I really, really, really highly value on a personal level, and so that's why I do it. I do it because I want to see people make soap, not because I'm making bukus of money from it. Any companies for fragrance oils or colorants that you love but rarely mention? No, I would not do that to you. If I really love somebody and I use them all the time, I'm going to talk about them. It comes naturally to me now in videos to tell you guys what I'm using and what I'm adding in. That just falls out of my mouth, so I really couldn't even keep it a secret if I wanted to. Small biz office necessities, i.e. Dymo software. So a Dymo is a label printer, and FYI, we don't use those because they print really, really big labels and I have really small boxes, and so we still print a lot of our shipping labels on regular printer paper. So there's just a free piece right there. As long as you can ship your labels on a regular piece of printer paper, it's really cost effective to do so. For me personally, my office setup looks different than like the Royalty Soaps business as a whole, because there's multiple people that need office work areas. So my brother Simeon has an office area, and then I have an office area. In mine, I would say, this is so silly, but it really is true, backup phone chargers, because you never know when one's gonna blow and you're like doing a social media thing and then your stuff is not getting charged. So having backup, both actually phone and computer chargers, is something that I always keep with me. I keep backup SD cards for all of my raw footage for Royalty Soaps, and backup batteries for all of my cameras, because the worst thing ever is having a camera die because of battery and then having to charge it and wait for it to charge when you really need to be filming. So I keep 2 extra batteries, and I have actually rigged up both my mics and my camera to batteries that you like plug into the wall, so it is consistently giving it power and you never have to replace one that isn't plugged in. Simeon and I also have items that both of us keep because they are so helpful. A pair of really, really sharp scissors comes in handy all the time. Having good Sharpies that aren't dried out and good pens that actually write. All of those items are basically necessities for anyone who has a small business. I keep sticky notes with me, but I don't keep so many that I lose them or that it gets overwhelming. So I keep a short running list of sticky notes for a week, and then at the end of the week, I throw those out. So I've kind of created my own systems like that. I could honestly make a whole video on organization because I don't know, it's taken me 10 years to figure it out. What's the ugliest soap you've ever made? I will show you this one right here. That was one of the very first soaps I ever sold on Etsy. I wasn't super proud of it, but it did work really good and it smelled amazing. And this picture right here was actually used by somebody when I first started in soap making forums, and was used to publicly bash and trash me and tell me I shouldn't be selling soap. So I don't have great associations with that photo, but here I am still making soap. The next question is from Bubble Junk UK, which I just love the name of. They ask, how can I keep motivation when my sales are low? I am literally downloading the Etsy sales app for like sellers right now, just so that I can tell you some of my statistics from the first 2 years of being in business, because I feel like some of you guys are going to be shocked at how little I was selling. And yeah, I'm just going to expose myself so that hopefully it will encourage you, because I did not do well. Okay, Okay guys, I'm going to the stats for my Etsy shop. Let's see. Let's go to orders. So I opened Royalty Soaps on September 15th of 2011. I had been making soap for a year at that time. And between the day that I opened on the 15th to December 31st, I was selling on a Weebly website. I did not own my custom domain, and I made 15 sales. The next year, I moved to Etsy in February, and so for all of 2012, literally, my first full year of business, I made 42 sales. In other words, it ain't that great. Now, I say that as an encouragement because, like I said, I didn't do that great those first 2 years. And even the next year, it wasn't a sustainable income. It was far lower than just going to a fast food restaurant and being paid minimum wage. And while I was doing Royalty Soaps to hopefully make a living one day, that wasn't my primary motivation. My primary motivation was to make a product that I felt was beautiful, that I thought people would enjoy and offer it to them. And so whether I sold a little bit or a lot of it was kind of neither here nor there to me. I had very small financial goals for myself personally. I wanted to be able to buy a car maybe, but I never really started Royalty Soaps with the intention of it ever getting as big as it was. I thought it would always just be a one-woman show and that it would probably peter out once I was married and had kids. So because one of my top 2 goals always with the company has been to serve others and to offer something I think they would enjoy, that was enough motivation for me to keep going even though sales were low, because I was like, hey, it's still there. I'm still trying out new things. I'm still trying to find out what people really want. In what way can I serve them in this area? Which was another primary motivation of getting on YouTube, because when 2 or 3 people watched the video, I was like, awesome, I'm enriching the life of 2 or 3 people. And gradually that grew to be 100 and then 1,000 and then 10,000 and then even more. And it was just as worth it to me at 50 views as it was at 5 million. And since we're talking about Etsy, here is a question that asks pros and cons of Etsy versus your own website. Can't decide what's best. So when you are first beginning your online store for soap making or whatever other handcraft or handmade good that you have, I always recommend that you start with a marketplace because you have not built up a customer base yet. Nobody knows who you are, and it's a saturated market. And I know you would think to yourself, well, then why would you ask me to go to a marketplace? Because that's the only way to get any traffic. If you have a standalone website, and the only way that people can find it is from your SEO, which a lot of people don't know about when they're first starting, or typing in your domain name directly. Let's just say my soap company is called The Best Soap. That's the name of the company. And so the only way people can find me is to go to thebestsoap.com or to find me via social media on the internet, assuming that your business is online. That's going to be really hard to find you. However, if you go to Etsy, which is the biggest handmade online marketplace, and that is the reason why I recommend it, and someone types in soap, there is a chance of you being found. Etsy is how I got my start, and Etsy is how and between Etsy and YouTube, that is how I was able to grow my customer base. And for a very long time, Etsy was outperforming YouTube with sending people to my shop, and by a lot. I mean, by 13 times the amount that YouTube was sending over. A lot of people were finding my Etsy shop first and then going to my YouTube from Etsy. So I had really good experiences with it. I would definitely recommend it if you guys are trying to start out for the very first time and you do not have a clientele base or a social media following pre-built in. Like, I didn't have that. Etsy was amazing. They do take a small percentage of your sale, and so at some point you will probably outgrow them and it wouldn't be cost effective to stay there anymore because you already have your customer base. You can just move it to a website. Hopefully you have built up a social media presence and following. Again, this is all assuming that you're selling online, and then you can go from there. So I actually recommend both. I recommend you start with Etsy in the marketplace and then move along to an online website when it isn't cost beneficial anymore. Guys, I have been waiting to answer this question for forever. Reagan Dunaway has asked, I've heard that when you own your own business, taxes are ridiculous. Is that true? Y'all lean in, y'all listen very, very closely because I do not want bad things to happen to you. If you are an online store owner, okay, so that goes for all of you soap makers, all of you crafters, all you people with Etsy shops, that's all of you. If you are selling goods and products online, you need to consult a CPA. This is a different piece of advice than I would have given you even 2 years ago, but the United States tax law for selling online goods has changed. I believe it changed in 2018, that they passed it around June of that year. And you may be required to be collecting taxes for other states that you don't live in. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I am not a CPA. I cannot give you tax advice. It is advice from one business owner to another, not for anything on what you need to do, simply that you need to consult someone who knows. Please, please, please get a CPA. Preferably find one that you pay per job or per month instead of hourly. That's what my CPA does. I pay her monthly instead of per hour because, I don't know, paying a CPA per hour to me always sounds sketchy because how do I actually know how long you've been working? Like, how do I know exactly you've been logging those hours? Paying a once a month flat fee is the way to go. And let me tell you, having a CPA can save you literally thousands of dollars in back taxes if your business takes off quickly or you have a lot of sales. So that is what I have to say about tax law. Yes, as a small business, it is incredibly complicated, and it has become even more complicated as the years have gone on. So save yourself the headache, save yourself potential thousands, get a CPA. That is my piece of advice. What are your 2021 goals for Royalty Soaps? Well, 2020 has been very interesting to say the least. There have been goals that I have met and there have been goals that I definitely have not, mainly due to raw materials shortages and shipping times. So, in 2021, I would like to stay afloat. I would like to continue the upload schedule that I have for YouTube now, which is twice a week. It's been a little chaotic with the Wednesday and Saturday. Sometimes it's just like, hey, it's up on Thursday and Sunday. I don't know what to tell you, but maintaining 2 videos a week for all of 2021. I would like to continue to increase the amount of products that we make every single month as we have been doing all of 2020. And just like every other YouTuber on the planet, I have a couple of goals for 2020 that I cannot legally discuss at this point in time, but they're kind of big, so I will be excited to share those as I am able. How did you get your soaps noticed? Sorry if it's already been answered previously. Love your vids. Thank you, Pumpkin Patch Soaps. I don't know if I've answered this. I feel like maybe I have. Honestly, this is just the gospel truth. I'm not entirely sure why I got noticed. It started with YouTube, probably. I did not reach out to have large media publishing outlets publish editorial pieces on Royalty Soaps. George Takei reached out to me, and they put that on Facebook. I think my soap featured a couple of times on BuzzFeed. Didn't even know about that until someone told me about it. So really all I did was post on Instagram. Sometimes I used hashtags, sometimes I didn't. I posted very, very, very consistently on YouTube, and that I think is one thing that kind of sets me apart from a lot of other soap makers on the platform, is that I have consistently uploaded for years, twice a week. I'm not talking about going on like a 3-month spree where I upload a ton of videos. I mean, for years, I have consistently uploaded twice a week. All of my subscribers know when to expect a video. I even came out with new themes that nobody had ever done before, to my knowledge. Obviously, maybe someone did it and I don't know about it, but the Secret Soap series was something new that I did that I didn't know anyone else who did. 12 Days of SOAPMAS was something that I did that I didn't know anyone else who did. Doing soap releases on the same day of every single month and having collection themes for the soaps themselves was not something I had seen anybody do. Now, I have seen other types of small businesses, like specifically people that do like hand-woven crafts and stuff, would do like monthly releases and shop updates out of necessity. But in the soap community, having extremely specific soap themes and then uploading those soap themes on the same, I had never seen that before. And I do think that having these new things that I personally thought of, tried out, launched, and see if they stuck. So that was a really long answer just to say I was extremely consistent with uploading, that I had some larger people reach out to me and want to feature me. And then, of course, number 3, doing things with your business in your product category that other people are not doing. And I will continue to do that probably as time goes on. I should also mention some of the things that I was doing, I was not purposefully doing to try to like, woo, this, I want to be a staple for royalty soaps. Like Secret Soap series I did because I wanted to do it. I was like, ooh, this sounds like fun to me. And then people liked it, so I kept it. Do things that you like that aren't copying what other people are doing. See if they stick, and if people like it, make it a signature thing. How long have you sold soap through Royalty Soaps? I have been selling soap through Royalty Soaps for 9.5 years now. September 15th of 2021 will be our 10-year anniversary. That will also be kind of the mark of when I have made soap now for 11 years. So I started making soap when I was 16. I started selling soap when I was 17, and then I will be 27 next year. So it's a long time. Have you ever been recognized out in public as the coolest soap maker on YouTube? That is so kind of you. I appreciate that. This is funny. I get recognized out in public quite often, especially if I go to the DFW, like Dallas area. Here in my own hometown, nobody really recognizes me. I've also gone to different towns in Texas, like Austin and Wimberley, and get recognized there too. And I will tell you, it is the strangest thing ever to just be walking around in the grocery store and hear your name called and be like, oh my gosh. I always have this panic when people are like, Katie Carson, hi. And I'm going, have I met you and I don't know you? And so I have this like internal freak out of, why don't I know your name? Why don't I know your face? And then they're like, I watch your YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, of course. That makes total sense, but I love meeting you guys in public. So yeah, if you see me out in public, come say hi. I'm definitely not bothered by that. I'm sure if I was a celebrity or like a big YouTube star that they get like trampled on in Walmart, maybe that would be rather cumbersome, but at this point, it's only like 1 or 2 people, and I can totally stop what I'm doing to say hi. How do you manage soap burnout? Like 0 ideas, 0 inspiration, 0 everything. Does it happen to you? Yes, it happens to me. I think that happens to everybody. People that are working in corporate America, people that are working at home, everybody experiences burnout and just doesn't want to work that day. Now, me personally, I have a lot of systems in place because a lot of royalty soaps is dependent on me getting my job done at a certain time. As an example, if I don't get my video done in time, then you guys don't get to watch it. Caleb doesn't have enough time to edit it. Like, it's just like a whole bunch of people don't benefit whenever I put things off. So that really, really motivates me on nights when I just don't want to film, because that does happen sometimes. I get my butt in gear because I'm like, listen, my people aren't going to have a video if I don't do it. So some of my videos aren't as good as others. There's always going to be something on the bottom tier. And sometimes those are just on nights where I'm just like, woof, that was rough. But it is better for me to put out a video for you guys to enjoy than for me to sit around on my bum and not do it. So that's where I find a lot of my motivation, is that you guys are depending on us for product and my team is depending on me to have things done on a certain time. So that really, really helps keep me accountable and keeps me internally motivated. And as far as design burnout goes, I have a design system that I use that my mom and I developed for me personally. It may not work for everybody, but it certainly works for me. And I would be happy to do a video on how I do a creative process. As many of you guys probably already know, I already have all of the soap themes for 2021 completely picked out, and I already have about 5 months completely designed already. So because of the system I have created, it really, really allows me to hone in my creativity and to get things done efficiently and still beautifully, so that we're coming out with designs that I'm really proud of, but I'm not on the wire having to cram a whole bunch of stuff in and hoping that it sticks. So if you'd like to see my design process that I've kind of developed for myself with my mom, maybe it would help you out. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below if that's something you want to see. What are your goals for the growth of Royalty Soaps within the next year, 5 years, and 10 years? So I kind of addressed it for next year. 5 years and 10 years, that's a long way out. And it's funny, I kind of do a mashup with how I structure things for the business, because there's certain things about business planning, marketing, and management that just gross me out. Like, I don't like the primary motivation being to make as much money as humanly possible. That's not motivating to me. Motivating to me would be, how do I serve the most amount of people as efficiently without compromising on quality? So my goals for the next 5 to 10 years aren't really monetary ones, because I don't care about that as much. It really has to do with, how can I get the most soap to people without compromising the quality and the design integrity of them? And how do I do so in a way that won't cause that many people angst and will be really, really natural? So that's kind of my whole goal, is just to continue to gradually increase as necessary. Could you ever see yourself accepting a large investment to make Royalty Soaps huge? No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. First of all, Royalty Soaps is debt-free, and it will always remain debt-free. So I'm not taking any money from anybody for a percentage. I will not ever do Shark Tank. Never. I will never do Shark Tank. That is not my goal at all for my business. That is an excellent thing to do for some people. But because we are handcrafted, handmade, it's just not the same business model. And I would always want to keep quality control, all of the designs being from me, etc., which kind of keeps us small to some degree. Because I was asked about business investments, and I've had a couple of people ask me about sponsorships and essentially staying out of drama and how do I manage to do that, I wanted to mention this because I've wanted to talk about it briefly for a long time. As I've gone along my business journey, I've seen so many YouTubers expose partnerships that they've had with other companies, leak emails or DMs, gossip about other people, and then those things end up getting exposed and blah, blah, blah. And all of that to me is extremely unethical. So whenever I work with a company, I want them to feel secure in that everything that we say between emails, our personal contracts that we sign, will all be private, and nothing will ever be published, and I will never expose anyone. I won't ever write blog posts about how dirty they really are behind the scenes. All of that is really, really, really unethical in my opinion. And I believe that whenever I work with people, that they should feel extremely confident that no matter what the future holds, whether we continue a partnership or a collaboration, or whether for the benefit of both or one party we have to end said partnership, that they feel very secure that I will always treat their partnership with dignity. I am always very thankful to the people that I have worked with in the past and who I am working with right now. And that would include my sponsors that work with me all the time, like Skillshare and Audible. They have done amazing things for me, as have many other companies in the past. I feel like it's really telling about the character of your company whenever you use your online voice and platform to publicly humiliate or expose another company in your forum and encourage drama in that way. And call me super, super old-fashioned, but I just don't believe in responding emotionally to business deals like that. At the end of the day, it is a business transaction, and I treat it as such. Do you think it's okay to sell Melt and Pour / glycerin soap? Of course! In fact, I personally sell Melt and Pour / glycerin soap. That is what the diamond soaps are. It's melting and adding color and fragrance and some goodies, and it does make an incredible bar. And there's tons of people that prefer the diamond soaps that we make as opposed to the cold processed soaps because they are generally harder. Some people just like the way they feel on their skin more. But yeah, of course that's acceptable. That is a completely valid form of soap art. How do you try and balance being a partner and a parent and all the things for your business? Well, I'd like to think that I've gotten better over the years. There was definitely a point in time where it was very, very difficult to separate kind of the work and life thing, especially since our business is still run from home. However, I have a very, very detailed schedule, and once I have accomplished what I have on my daily schedule, I'm done. I don't allow myself to continue to work because I finished before I thought I would, or because I know I can slip an extra thing in there. If I've accomplished everything on my schedule, that's when I'm done working for the day. And I do allow myself to take off most nights. So after 7 p.m., if I still have work unfinished, that's too bad, because I need to take time for myself and for my family to completely leave Royalty Soaps just sitting there for morning and, you know, indulge in a hot bath and a good meal and reading my kids a bedtime story. When you work with all of your family, basically, stuff can get a little hairy if you let it. And I think that with relationships within your own family that might have been difficult before, you would think, oh no, now it's going to make it even more difficult. But if you allow your business to help you grow and to help you see that person's perspective better, having a business together as a family really can enrich the relationships. And I have definitely found that to be the case for me. Don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of difficult things as a family we've had to deal with. My family has a lot of really big personalities, and sometimes they can clash. But at the end of the day, our primary goal is family. It's not business, it's family. And so when you prioritize that person over whatever's going on in your business, I think finding common and equal ground is a whole lot easier because they're your first priority, not the business. And when everyone has that perspective, well, it makes working out through arguments a lot easier. I have now successfully answered 20 questions in the 2020 Royalty Soaps 12 Days of SOAPMAS Soap Making Q&A video. That is the longest title ever. I've got to come up with something a little more catchy than that. I hope you guys found this helpful. And don't worry, I have saved some more questions so that we can do this again in the future. I really love doing Q&As. And again, I hope some of you guys found this helpful. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel for more soapy business content. So until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing rest of your day, and bye for now. I cannot reach the camera to neom, so let me neom my hand. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Neom!